September 9th, 2020, Wednesday night here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. We are coming off of NXT, which was yesterday on its Super Tuesday, and AEW on its normal night here on Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. That's what we're going to talk about first. Being joined, as always, by the mayor, Mr. BP, Matt Morgan. Matt, how you doing?
Tired. What's up, you guys? How are you?
Good to have you. And our newest addition. I really can't say new anymore. He's starting to settle in. He's just part of the gang. He is current professional wrestler. See him in a town near you, Mr. Sam Adonis. Sam, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot. Happy to be here once again. And I don't think I'm new anymore. This is like my 5th week already, so I'm falling into the groove of things.
Yeah, new car smell is gone.
Yeah, that sucks.
Put one of those little mint trees on the...
Now I can't make as many mistakes. Now people will start judging me.
Yeah. All right, guys, well, let's jump right into it. This is, of course, AEW Dynamite coming off of an all-out show. I didn't get to talk to either of you guys on the air with All Out, but obviously it certainly seemed like it was maybe the most criticized AEW show. We'll see where parts of that might come into play here, or they don't. We started out with a really pretty cool opening, though. It's in the parking lot with Tony Schiavone, MJF, and Chris Jericho, obviously two notorious heels meeting, giving compliment to each other, what each other's had to put up with. MJF, of course, has lost with Moxley. Jericho, 2 losses now to Orange Cassidy, and just pleasantries all around, going for a handshake. Can't do that in a pandemic, so they give an elbow bump, and then they walk away, and we get a split screen of both guys just shaking their head in disdain of one another. I thought this was just a fun way to start out with again, your two top heels.
Yes,
Matt?
This was awesome. This was a great way to start the show. Very original, too. I liked it.
Sam, what do you think?
I think it's always good when you have two of your top talents on camera at the same time. A lot of times people are kind of pigeonholed into their feud. It's nice to just take a break from that, do these one-off segments. The one that always comes to mind is The Rock and the Hurricane. It was there, and it's still some of the best stuff you'll ever see, and it really didn't have any rhyme or reason. I think they're still finding themselves, figuring out what they need to do, and I think it looked great.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's a great reference you make there. A great point, obviously, of having two stars. And this is one thing I do like. Too often in AEW, everybody is in like a stable for the most part. Almost everybody is in a line. There's very few people that stand alone. And even though MJF kind of he has Wardlow and he has his campaign posse, and obviously Jericho with the Inner Circle. I like the fact that here's your top 2 heels, and maybe in other professional wrestling bookings, they would always band together because on that side of the fence. I like the fact that they're both so egotistical and full of themselves that they would not even come to honestly giving a compliment to each other. I love the shit grins on both of their faces doing this.
I think, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think due to some of the experience in Japan that these guys have, New Japan's big on having everybody in a faction. There's Chaos and Bullet Club. Everybody's in a faction. I think that might be just some sort of booking preference that's from the influence of their experience, and I don't think I really mind it. I think it's kind of cool that everybody has an allegiance. I think it feels a little bit bigger, and it's a way to use that many people on a roster.
I guess it's kind of like a Game of Thrones mentality, just kingdoms, and
tribes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I think it gets worn off. I always criticize Survivor Series, but nonetheless, AEW is doing the best they can, really trying to establish all these different factions. Speaking of which, that takes us to our first opening tag match, and that is the Lucha Brothers with Eddie Kingston, the Blade and the Butcher outside, up against Jurassic Express, specifically Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Very good opening tag match. The underlying point here is, if you're watching throughout the match, is Penta and his brother Phoenix are having some disagreements at times. So that's something to watch. And ultimately, due to a miscommunication, it ends up that Penta ends up throws Phoenix into Penta and takes a Canadian Destroyer, which I've never seen a Canadian Destroyer be done on somebody else's tag partner. I've never seen them attempt to do that.
That is the most. I'm sorry. This is where they get in trouble. And this is where Jim Cornette is going to lose his shit when he's covering the match, because of the degree of cooperation that's involved in a lot of this stuff. Listen to me. It is impossible to do a misdirection spot with a Canadian Destroyer. Come on. But am I going to sit here and pretend I was not entertained by it? Nope, I was. Am I going to sit there and go, holy shit, I couldn't do that? Yep, I'm not going to say that either. So bottom line is, I was still entertained, so I'm over it. And 2, I only care now to see how they get into a feud versus each other, because I will pay money to watch those two wrestle each other 7 days a fucking week. I will.
Yeah. And that was the big thing coming out of this is obviously Jurassic Express gets the win, but they're off to the side.
Yes.
The brothers arguing. This was pretty long and drawn out. Eddie Kingston's trying to separate them. Butcher and Blade's trying to bring peace. But yeah, I mean, even when they could have had the moment of the handshake, could have had the Owen Brett, we're going to try to get back together again. It was just more pushing and shoving. So yeah, it looks like a deep tag division. But
Because
Sam, they're going to.
Really quick before you go to Sam, is the thing with them, they should be the number one tag team in that whole entire division. But for whatever reason, they don't book them that way. So fine. If you break them up, I still, like I said, I look forward to seeing singles matches versus these two because they're freaking both ridiculous.
Sam, you're familiar with both of these guys. I know you've worked on many shows with them. I'm a big fan of ever since I saw Pentagon and Lucha Underground, I was hooked with him. What would you prefer, the Lucha Brothers tag team, or you want to see these guys push the single stars, Penta as the heel maybe, and Phoenix as the face?
I like them as a tag team. However, I love the fact that they are real life brothers. That's something that, has so much depth to it. There's so much mileage you can get out of it. There's so many feuds, opportunities, betrayals.
Did you ever wrestle your brother?
Oh yes, many times. Here in Pittsburgh, just on an independent level.
That's cool. I never knew that.
But it's cool because there's so much you can do with that. Personally, Penta and Phoenix are two of my favorite wrestlers, two of my favorite people. Every time they're on the screen, I think they're capable of elevating people to their level. But then again, that being said, their level is so high that, those two alone in a ring is going to blow the roof off the place.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can do. It's nice to, in my opinion, because I've still only watched a few weeks of these TV shows. It's nice to see them get a little bit more attention. I've only seen them in these 4 or 5 minute segments. Whatever they do, as long as the camera's on them more, I'm happy because they're just great guys and great wrestlers.
So when AEW first started, Sam, they were featured, like especially Penta. He was like, I would say easily one of their top 5 acts for sure. And then they brought his brother in, and they were like the top tag team with Bucks, right? And we had some seriously crazy tag matches, like off the wall. Oh my God. And then all of a sudden they stopped, like, I guess with the pandemic, I think when that hit, I would say, maybe because of travel issues, they were
gone for several months. Yeah,
okay, that's what happened. And then and then they kind of been dropped down.
Well, I think
how they've been booking them as a tag team.
I think those two in particular could be accredited for a lot of the independent wrestling success in the last 3 or 4 years. I think they were they're so unique when they came out on Lucha Underground, and people were just fascinated by them.
When they got me to watch the show, Penta got me to watch that show. I never would have watched.
Exactly. When they came to your town, they looked so good on a poster, and you've seen the videos of them. I think that's why a lot of these independent companies got traction, because wherever they were at, those independents were selling out, which is, these guys are just assets. They're great to have on the TV show. And I think it's awesome that they're going to be, featured a little bit more.
And Penta, you can book, as we saw with TNA, you can book him as a main event singles act.
Yeah,
you can. He has so much charisma. It's ridiculous how much charisma this guy has.
It's always funny to me though, because it's not just most people get the idea that Lucha Libre is all about the fast-paced stuff and everything.
Right.
Penta does dancing and does a hand symbol, and he's more over than anybody. So
it's the most over thing there is.
Exactly.
They all chant it. it.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that also plays in a favor, especially for Pentagon, particularly, and Sam, you said how they really kind of took off working all around the United States, is they're not that exposed in the sense of kayfabe. And I guess part of this is, I know Mexican wrestlers are protected a little bit more with masks and names, but it's not like there's not videos out there of Penta with his mask off, doing a TikTok dance. And there's not all this, there's not we know he has a brother, and we know that he comes from a wrestling family, and Sam, you might know more, and you don't have to break their kayfabe, but I like the fact that there's still a little bit of mystery to them, which I think is cool.
It's funny because last week I was flying to Dallas, and I'm walking through Dallas airport, and I'm walking by the terminal that says Mexico City, and I'm just looking just to see if anyone's going back. And sure as hell, Penta was sitting there. So I went and had breakfast with him, but I could barely recognize him because he had his COVID mask on, and I had mine on. So it was like, is that him? I didn't know if I wanted to say hi, but it was cool to see him for a guy.
Yeah.
Sam, has Penta ever cut a promo in English in US?
I've never spoken to Penta in English. I know his brother speaks very good English, and we speak in English when I talk to Phoenix, but I've never heard Penta speaks English. I've only ever spoke Spanish with him. So as far as I know, I don't think he does.
Do you think that would stand in the way at all of him getting pushed as a single star on AEW?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Go back and watch TNA. I'm being serious. He had a very good main event run. And he did his promos, what we see him do in Mexico, actually.
I think it's almost more difficult to be able to exude that much charisma in a mask. And when you can be that over in a mask and not speak, I mean, there's something special there. The guy
incredibly special. Yes. Yeah. People understand what a harness that mask is. Yeah. For body language, especially facials. We don't get to see his facials, but we do because he's so over the top with his body language that you do know his expressions without having to see them. It's absurd. If you were to write this on paper, I'd say, nope, that is impossible to do. Nobody could do it, including Rey Mysterio, I would even say. This guy does it.
Very good. Just a reminder, if you guys have any super chat comments that you want to put forth to the money for the Bank of Raj, please.
$20, $25.
You can do that. We'll get them up as long as they are within bounds of appropriate. All right, we get a backstage promo of Jake Roberts and Lance Archer standing somewhere in the rain. Jake Roberts doing the talking as he does. Basically, it's all about building Archer to challenge Jon Moxley, and we would find out later in the night that October 14th, I believe, that episode is going to be marking the 1-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite on TNT, and it's going to be built around Moxley being challenged for the title, assuming he still has it, obviously, by Lance Archer. So that's the next program for Jon Moxley. Coming up next, we did a poll earlier today on the Wrestling Inc. Daily, the daily podcast that I was on with Wrestling Inc. And it was what are you most looking forward to for Dynamite? And there's a couple options and also a write-in option. And far and beyond, the number one option voted by fans today was the Matt Hardy segment of Matt Hardy's going to speak. What's he going to say? Just a little context for anybody who's missed out. Matt Hardy was in a match against Sammy Guevara if he at AEW was All Out last Saturday. If he loses, he leaves AEW. And they did a spot there on top of a scissor lift. Guevara spears him. They're supposed to go through 2 tables. They kind of overshot, and Hardy his head lands brutally on the concrete. He looked like he was badly injured. Match goes on. He ends up winning, but it was just an ugly picture. And then after the show, Tony Khan on his media call stated that they checked on Matt. He was he's not concussed, and he was able to keep going. So he said he's able to keep going. Matt's very outspoken and passionate wife, Rebby Hardy. She has a different side of the story if you look at her Twitter. So a lot of controversy going into this. So Matt comes out to great reaction from the fans that are there and the limited capacity, and basically says he suffered a scary fall. He's recovering. He's not cleared yet, but he's going to get healthy. He's going to get cleared. Rebby and their newborn is actually in the crowd. He points them out, declares his love, says sorry to his family, sorry to his fans for scaring them, basically notes his feud with Guevara is over, and so he's going to get back to being Matt Hardy, and he's going to try to get ready to chase for his first AEW title. So, Matt, how did this promo come off to you, given the circumstances?
It was a nice touch with his family being there, I thought. But I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know how to see past letting him go that night. And I know what he's supposed to do, jump in front of him, or you know what I mean, when he's trying to go back and rest. I don't know. I just know that to lie, I'm having a hard time swallowing the lie that he wasn't concussed. Even though I like Tony Khan, and I don't think he's the type to do it. So maybe he was just misinformed, I'm hoping. You know what I mean? By the doctor. I don't know. I feel like I should make an excuse for him because Tony's not that type. He's very forward thinking. He's about giving these wrestlers and worry about their health. He's not your prototypical P.T. Barnum booker or owner. He's not. But that's why I was so disappointed with that. So no matter what Matt came out and said, all I'm going to keep remembering was that incident from this week because it's still fresh in my head, right? So overall, it's just another reset for Matt. I think it hurts him, obviously. But what he's supposed to do? He's messed up. He's hurt. But it's another restart. It's like the third or fourth restart for him. So, fingers crossed he's able to get on track eventually and use some of that crazy creativity that he has. The roster will be smart to be picking his brain. I will be flying him out every week, no matter what, whether he can't go. And these guys need to be picking, these girls need to be picking his brain.
Sam?
I don't know. It felt like an apology to me. I don't know what he was apologizing for. Like, I understand there was an accident, it was a bump, but it felt like I got the impression that it was a public apology.
And almost on behalf of AEW, it felt
exactly.
Like. It felt like he was apologizing for AEW.
And I mean, he worked his ass off. Okay, whether they stopped it or not, I mean, he's still a performer. And I don't know. It just felt like an apology. I didn't know what I was watching. So, I mean, I don't know enough about his history, where it's going, what's happening. I don't know if people are mad at him or something. I don't know what it was. So.
No, they're mad at AEW.
Yeah, it came off. This definitely came off as a, whether he wanted to or whether, of course, he's told to. This came off as he was trying to get heat off the company.
Well, the thing is, a guy like, I mean, Matt Hardy's been around forever and done everything. And like, you know, I don't think there's anybody in that company that's going to argue with him. If he says, no, we're fine, you say you're fine, you know? So again, I didn't know enough about it, but it made me like uneasy. Like, is someone in trouble? Is this bad? What's happening? So
this is certainly the biggest PR slip AEW's had up to this point. AEW's been pretty transparent and have handled things really well in their.
Can you explain to me then? What did I miss then?
Well, so the issue is that, you know, again, it looked like that should have been a situation that's at spot. Okay, we need to stop it. Matt is clearly not fit to continue this match. Obviously, I know from a booking standpoint, if he loses, he has to leave AEW. Just throw him on top. Have Guevara slip on a banana peel like Owen Hart did when Austin had to roll him up after Austin got dropped on his head. Have Sammy slip a banana peel and just drop Matt on him if you got to count three.
No, not even. They were fine stopping it where they did because everyone saw what a crazy blow that was.
Okay, so
they were fine stopping it there. They didn't. The thing that has so much heat here, Sam, is that again during the after show, and we all went and saw it. We saw Matt. Matt couldn't stand up. He was stumbling on himself. He was knocked out on his feet. He wasn't home. Definitely concussed. Even non-doctors like us could see it from a mile away.
Right.
All right. So when the owner comes on and talks about on the after show saying that he was not concussed. All right. And then you have his wife on Twitter going, what the fuck? Yes, he was concussed. Don't be lying about my man. Tonight, having her and the kid there was a huge, hey, Matt, do us a big favor. Get us out of this fucking shithole we're in right now. Get us out of this ditch, brother. And
that makes sense. I understand.
In a way, they're using their family to do it too. Like, I guess it's supposed to be okay with the family being present. That means they forgive them too, I guess, the AEW. I don't know. So if they've forgiven them, that means we should.
Okay. I understand.
If the Hardys have forgiven them, we should. Yeah. Is what
Rebby
was sold to me as.
Yeah, Rebby was very outspoken, saying like, you know, basically like he obviously has a concussion, and he ended up going to the hospital, and also what's conflicting here is, you know, AEW said he was fine. He was able to continue the match. Well, then you have Matt come out here and blatantly say, I am not cleared and I have to go get healthy. So he right there is contradicting what we were told was the reason for allowing the match to continue in the first place. So, but
another reason why wrestling was much more fun before the internet and we all knew everything.
Yes.
You know, it's so much
way more fun, way better.
Ignorance is bliss.
It really is.
But the reason I brought up when I introduced this segment, I brought up that poll that we put up earlier today on Twitter that this was the most anticipated, at least by the sample size of who voted, the most anticipated segment, is I feel like this is a bit of a letdown. I feel like fans either wanted Matt Hardy to go out there and shoot, or they wanted Sammy to come out. They wanted just a storyline to continue. And the fact that it was very, I'm sorry, don't be mad at AEW, and then he leaves. I feel like that's going to be a letdown to people.
What was he going to shoot on, though? What was he going to say? You can't have an angle with the company. So what's he going to say? Tony Khan, you lying sack of shit. I did have a concussion.
I think
screw you for not caring about my health. Okay,
from reading
when's that match going to happen?
From reading the social media comments, I think people wanted an Austin Vince. I think they wanted them to turn this into a story. Is what it kind of.
Could you imagine Tony Khan wrestling?
I was going to say, how long until he takes a position as a on-screen talent?
He hasn't yet.
I feel like it's. I don't know. I just think, you know, a lot of people in that position would like that opportunity to have some fun with it. So I feel like it's probably going to come sometime soon.
Eventually,
Dixie couldn't pass it up, and she swore she never wanted to do it.
Elizabeth Fox, $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Miro / Rusev debuting tonight. Yes, we'll get to that in a minute. Debuting tonight was crazy. I texted my mom. Yes. She and I are both wrestling fans. She was like, "Oh wow." In my opinion, WWE is in trouble with this. We'll get to his comments. Talking about shooting. We'll get to that here in just a moment. I think we had another super chat. I'm trying to find it. There we go. Justin Lopez, $10 super chat. Thing is, Tony Khan is an NFL owner, and the NFL has been taking the proper precautions for years to prevent concussions at CTE. He should know better and stop the match. Interesting angle to take there.
That's why I'm not trying to defend Tony Khan. I don't work there. I'm not being paid anything to do this, but he's usually in front of all this stuff. He is. So I'm surprised. I almost think you know what I mean? The doctor somehow had it wrong, or he was lied to. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Tony Khan to lie, but he did. So I don't get it.
Do you get this, Matt? Next up, Angelico up against Orange Cassidy. That's right, a straight up one-on-one Orange Cassidy match. Orange Cassidy gets the win, and he gets it with the orange punch. And I mean, Matt, this is, I mean,
push.
Orange Cassidy's being pushed as a singles babyface here.
Push to the moon. Yep. What do I say? I don't know.
Sam, are you an Orange Cassidy fan?
Yeah, I have no problem with him. I think it's just funny, his little mannerisms and nuances that they're very relatable. Everybody knows somebody that's done everything he's done at some point in their life. I was excited to see Angelico. He's one of my best friends. He's actually one of the reasons why I ended up in Mexico. And it was nice seeing him actually be able to thrive in a singles position, because from what I understand, people know him as his, insane tag team with Jack Evans. Yeah. But he was busting out some classic lucha that's, I mean, you never see on American television. So happy to see him. Just awesome, fun.
Is his body the shits? Why does he cover up his upper body?
Who?
Angelico.
No, he didn't have a shirt on tonight, did he?
He took it off after his entrance, I think.
Oh, okay, my bad. When they first came in, him and Jack both generally wore like these long sleeves, tight shirts.
It's weird because in Mexico they don't like it's not as it is aesthetic as far as the masks and costumes go, but like a lot of the guys are bodybuilders all year long. So if they have one weekend where they don't feel like themselves, they'll wrestle with a t-shirt on. And it's so funny because you'll see these guys with these big elaborate costumes and then they'll have a t-shirt on. I'm assuming it's probably something he picked up down there, whether he's feeling insecure.
Because he's a good looking, I don't know if he's a kid or how old he is, but he's a good looking talent. Like he looks like a star.
Yeah, for sure. It was just I don't know why he does it, but I think he's got all the tools to be something special.
And he's tall. He's taller versus these other ones.
I don't know if he signed to AEW or if he's just making some appearance.
Yeah, he's signed. He's been
signed. Okay. I didn't know for sure if he was signed. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. They bring a lot of people in and out.
Don't get hot, man.
He's definitely signed.
You're angry, Jesus.
He's got done jabroning this kid who's been there from
the first episode. No, I wasn't
I'm wondering if he's under contract or not.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, screw you, Justin. God,
no, that's not a knock on him. That's saying I'm wondering if he's signed. They bring in a lot of talent. We see open invitations. Don't now you're gonna get heat with me with him. I don't. That's not what I'm looking.
I'm just back here stirring my pot with you guys.
God, how do you say shit stir in Spanish? Good Lord. All right. After the match, Santana and Ortiz come out. They attack Orange Cassidy, and then Chuck and Trent come out. So they challenge next week to Pride and Powerful, a parking lot match. Of course, this all starts over trashing One Mom's van.
Yes. That's what they lose, man.
I finally see your point on that today because I didn't see it last week. I didn't know about the mom van or whatever. I guess it's just like an inside joke or something. I don't know, but I don't know if that's just like really cool or really corny or what they're going for. I guess I'm still too blind to that.
Like I said, I'm not buying a t-shirt of a dude riding to the show in his mom's van.
Unless his mom's really hot.
Unless it's like Stacy's mom or something.
There you go.
Stacy's mom.
All right. Matt, I'll be interested to get your take on this one. We get backstage. Alex Marvez, he's trying to get an interview with the Young Bucks. He is outside of the dressing room door, and the door opens up, and Matt and Nick just super kick him and just angrily shut the door. No comment, nothing. So, Matt, your boys, some heel action here.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see them do something different. To me, they've always been the most proverbial babyface tag team there could be, right? Nothing but great high spots, athletic as crap, innovative as crap. They're exciting to watch. They scream babyface tag team. Yeah. But for their betterment of their careers, having this opportunity to finally be, a heel again, it's been years since they've had a chance to do it. In Japan, to be fair, I mean, just going around doing crotch chops and whatnot is not really getting an opportunity to cut heel promos, even though they did in their big group settings with the Bullet Club, they did. But on their own, they're going to have to carry the weight, and I'm excited for them. So I like this.
We got a super chat here of Steezy Preezy.
Who is that Alex guy, though, the commentator that they kicked? Where's he from? What's his backstory?
He, I believe, is a Sirius XM guy. I think he's a football analyst. NFL analyst. I think he's had he's done some crossover with them. He's been there with them for quite a while, but I think that's where he got.
Is he local to the Jacksonville market?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I like I said, I think he had a Sirius XM show in the NFL, but I don't think it's a Jacksonville thing. I think a little bit of a crossover mainstream, but he's been with them since I can remember Dynamite coming on the air.
Okay.
Another super chat here. Steezy Preezy, $4.99. People wanted Brody to squash Dustin. That was the main event tonight. Wanted to squash Dustin, but love how much they gave Dustin tonight. He deserves it. Miro promo was dope. Looks like a legit star. Yeah, let's talk about the man they will refer to as Miro. So we come up the next segment. Kip Sabian. He's going to reveal who the best man is. He's out there with his girl, Penelope Ford. Kicks Tony Schiavone out the ring. All right, so who's the best man going to be? And out comes a big guy named Puff. Well, no, it turns out he told Puff he's a good guy. He appreciates him subscribing to his Twitch channel, but you're not the best man. Second attempt for the best man. Here comes Brian Pillman Jr. Sabian says, no, you've been bugging me. I just had to get you off my back. I texted and said, you're the best, man. Kicks him out the back on Pillman Jr.'s birthday. Finally, he gets the real introduction for who the best man is. And out comes the best man, the Bulgarian beast, as they even refer to him on commentary, the man known as Miro, formerly Rusev in WWE. Rusev, I'm going to get used to this. Miro grabs the mic, has a great response, even gets a holy shit chant from, again, the limited capacity audience. I can only imagine what an arena full would have sounded like. He's out there. He's pumped up. He's playing into the chants. And he cuts a promo and two notable quotes. One quote being Elite recognizes Elite, because he is now there in AEW, and the other one being, for the last 10 years, he's lived in the same house with a glass ceiling with an imaginary brass ring, and he says, and you can take that brass ring and you can shove it up your ass. Obviously a reference to WWE. So Miro is all Elite. Matt Morgan, your thoughts on this one?
This was great. This was awesome. This is where it sucks not having arenas full of fans, because they would have lost their stuff tonight watching this, and I think we all watching at home did. This was their biggest get that they could have got of all the released talents from WWE recently, my opinion. And I'm again excited to see what he's going to do with this opportunity.
Sam,
I was so happy to see him. He's one of my favorite people on earth. He was in FCW with me, and he was actually one of the guys that I spent more time with than anybody. Like outside, we lived really close to each other. We're always hanging out. Just a fantastic person. But more so than anything is people don't know how capable this guy is of just tearing the house down. He was Rusev for so long, but I never knew him as Rusev. I knew him a year before he became Rusev, and he was just wrestling these fantastic matches. He's 10 times more agile than anybody has any idea. He was trained by Gangrel and Rikishi, so he knows work. I mean, I think it's going to be great for him. But overall, as a segment, I thought it was really cool because they drew that out so long that you knew something cool was going to happen. They did a really good job of just teasing, no, it's not him, it's not him. By the time they got to that announcement, you knew it was going to be a debut, which was pretty cool. So I'm just happy to see him there, and I love that he bleached his hair. He looks badass, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of this guy since I became aware of him. Obviously, after you, Sam. But yeah, I mean, I thought he did great as the old-fashioned foreign heel. I mean, he got to work. He got to work a Mania match with John Cena.
But it's very nice too, because nobody really gets angry at Bulgarians. So like that's not a stereotype that they have to stay away from. So
for a while, they tried to say he was from Russia, and they would put the Putin stuff up, and then they went back to the Bulgaria when.
Again, I missed all that.
Yeah,
you missed his feud with Cena.
Yeah, I just didn't see much of it. Yeah.
So like they did a great job for what it's worth, bringing him in as Rusev, and him with Lana. Even Lana, I thought did a remarkable job.
They reminded me of Drago and
yes,
Drago and
it was well done. Everybody gets the gimmick. Therefore, it's easy heat. And his stuff looks believable. When he was putting it on Cena, who a lot of talents are scared to get heat on and lay their stuff in with him. He didn't. He was laying his stuff in, and I thought he got made, and the company failed him like many other talents.
They did, and then he gets into phenomenal shape. He drops some LBs.
Yes.
And then the Rusev Day thing takes off, and I believe
got hugely over.
And I think Miro said this just recently in an interview where he said Vince dismissed the Rusev Day chants. Vince's response to Miro was, "They're mocking you. They're making fun of you." And he's like, "Well, then how is my number one T-shirt? How am I the number one T-shirt?" And he says Vince's response, "I guess they didn't make enough shirts." I mean, that's why they sold out. Like, so, I mean, yeah, this is, I'm happy to see this. I'll be curious, and this is just a side note for those who follow. Obviously, Dave Meltzer's a big fan of AEW, is a big supporter, it would seem, in his coverage of it.
Yeah.
And Miro and Dave Meltzer have not gotten along recently online. Dave Meltzer put a report out claiming something about Lana.
That it's Lana's fault, real quick, that it's Lana's fault that WWE cut everybody's third-party opportunities to get paid.
Right.
Which is not true. It is not how it happened.
And so Miro spoke up. He basically said, "Why do you make up so many lies? You think you're in the know. You make up so much." And he actually, I think, he even said, "I hope you burn in hell."
Yes.
So I don't think Miro's going to be. I don't think Miro's going to be feeding Uncle Dave much insider scoop from AEW. This is a super chat I missed earlier, so it's a little. This was back when we were talking about Tony Khan versus Matt Hardy. Nightmare Knee says, "Please, Tony Khan, don't become Vince." I think that's what that was in reference to. And then I believe Nightmare Knee had one more. Sorry, Nightmare Knee. Here we go. Yep. He then later said, "You skipped my first chat." Well, there you go. But anywho, I'm happy to see Miro. Yes. So thank you again for the $5 there, Nightmare Knee. Sorry about missing that first one. Another super chat coming in here. We got $10. Dustin Eck, confused on who's going to turn heel because AEW is building up Hangman to be heel, but now it looks like they're building Omega and Bucks as heels. Cody teased himself being heel via his IG. Yeah, I guess Cody had an announcement they kept plugging after the show. I haven't seen it, so if anybody wants to...
I haven't either. And that reader, God, I'm old. That super chatter is first time, long time.
First time caller, long time listener.
He's spot on though, because they keep changing. And for instance, if the Bucks are turning heel, well, then why didn't they write off with Kenny at the end of the pay-per-view the other night into the sunset, if you will, into heeldom? Because that's where Kenny said he was going, right? There was no ifs and buts. Kenny was now heel. And the Bucks didn't go with them. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, they do send these different messages on, are these guys heels or are they not? Because for 2 to 3 weeks they are, then there's a week where they're not, and we're supposed to think the other person. It's all over the place. They've got to get, that's why I like the super kick tonight by both of them. They've got to continue on this path. Just straight heel, you know?
Yeah. So we'll get to that just in 1 second. We had another super chat coming in here. $5 from Justin Lopez. They're effing with you, Rusev. Vince on the crowd with Rusev Day. So that was the quote. Whatever. All right. Tony Schiavone doing a sit-down interview with Hangman Page. Hangman Page basically taking all the fault for why they lost. And he's lost his friends and just a very woe is me kind of attitude. So keep that in mind for something we're going to see a little bit later on with Omega in an interview.
Okay, next. And it makes him look like a puss. No offense. He ain't the reason why they lost. Kenny's the reason they lost. There's a misdirection. Kenny hit his partner. That's why they lost.
$5 super chat coming in from Michael saying, same old former WWE promo, always the brass ring. Miro will be a mid-card again in a month and other wedding angle. Thought show was boring tonight. Ooh.
Brother's shooting over here. God.
Jeez, give him a chance at least. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Michael's not impressed.
Don't be such a negative Nancy, Michael.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Positive vibes only. You'd be surprised what they can accomplish.
Nightmare Knee. This is a great time for wrestling. I'm so happy to see Matt smiling on Monday. He was over it. $5. Yeah, Matt, you were a little over it at 11:30 on Monday night.
Oh God, I hate Raw. I hate it. I'm sorry.
$2 from Neo. Why does Miro look like a jacked Eminem? He does have the Eminem, the old-fashioned Slim Shady hair.
Changing his look.
Fresh coat of paint. Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager up against Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. It's no DQ, no countout match, which is basically every AEW match, but let's just call it what it is here. Yep. Again, for my money, this is longer than it needed to be.
Well,
but
real quick, tell them what happened. Sorry.
I don't want to go through every damn mat move, but I mean, they went back and forth.
The winner and losers.
Oh, yeah. Sonny Kiss sits up to the top rope, getting ready to hit something onto Hager. Jericho sprays him with the fire extinguisher from the outside. Hager lifts up, plants Kiss to the mat, and then locks in the head and arm submission. Referee counts to 3. So Jake Hager gets the victory for the team via submission. After the match, Jericho cuts a promo and basically kind of declares that he and Hager are going for the tag titles, that they're entering in the tag division. So Jericho kind of done with his singles run for now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have predicted this, but no. I think this is good. I mean, don't you? Because it opens up another spot in the singles.
Right, and what else?
another
Right.
hopeful, another heel.
Yeah,
I think it just buys time. Eventually, when you have a secondary chase for the tag belts, that's going to buy time for the Bucks. They're going to be able to build that longer to get the FDR and the Bucks. Because if you have immediate threats already that are two of the top stars going after the tag belts, it's going to switch focus, and you can still plant seeds.
And then that's my next question, though. Like, FTR needs to be a heel. They need to be a heel tag team.
I think they're so good they can be circumstantial. I think they'll be heels most of the time, but whenever they're out there with Hager and Jericho, I think the people are going to buy the narrative that they're just competitive. They're very good wrestlers. I was impressed.
They cut the ring off, though. You know what I mean? Though they cut the ring off, and they do all these cool things as heel. I don't know.
It was just nice, like seeing Jericho. I mean, he spent probably the first 4 minutes of the match in the ring, and that's always nice to see somebody that is willing to put in that work there. And it's, I mean, he was cool. And I actually thought Sonny Kiss was awesome. I think this was
because he is.
That was the first match of his I saw. Just everything about it was so cool. It was such a well done package, and just, I mean, he's a star. He reminds me kind of like Velveteen. Like I said, how much I like Velveteen on NXT. Everything about him is just polished and perfect. He looks like $1 million. He moves like $1 million. He, the camera completely just picks different. Up everything about him. I really liked him.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so it looks like if we're going to be losing one tag team in the Lucha Brothers, we're going to gain another tag team in Jericho and Hager in the division. So the division stays strong. And I mean, yeah, look, Jericho, he was the first world champion. He held it for a while. I mean, yeah, he certainly had, he got Orange Cassidy even more over. So, I mean, he's done his due already in a year as a single star. So,
definitely.
Yeah, change it up. All right, we get backstage with MJF and his campaign crew, and he basically just berates everybody. And then finally, the last one standing that he gets in the face of is Wardlow, and he just berating Wardlow. And again, there's some tease here of the eventual split. Here's the best thing I like about what happened here with he and Wardlow. One thing they said that I think helps Wardlow is MJF says, remember, Tony Khan doesn't sign your checks. I sign your checks, which is a great out for why this big man would put up with so much shit.
He has to take it. Of course. Right. Of course. Yes. So, it was a great way to protect him while being berated versus not eating this kid for lunch. Right. It was great.
Sam, what'd you think?
I just really hope they don't break that up just yet. I think they can get 2 or 3 years out of that. I always look back to Batista turning on Triple H and how long it took. It took so long, and the people wanted it. Just when they thought they were going to get it, you made them wait longer, to the point where it was, a fever pitch. The water was boiling over. And then finally, when he turned babyface, Batista was a made man, a made babyface. I think MJF's such a good heel that they could get the same thing out of Wardlow. I just don't want to see it end this quick.
Seeing some of us with the...
You're breaking up, brother.
I know. Spinning wheels here.
You're good now. You're back.
Yeah.
You, Sam?
No, you're not. Justin.
Yeah, I was going to say that was
weird.
Did you hear everything I said, Matt? Or was I cut out?
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Okay.
Justin, don't go to super. People are going to be pissed. Don't go to super chats then, because it's messing up your.
Is that what it is?
Feed. Yeah, I think so. Try not to do it and see what happens.
So I'm not sure what happened there.
No, you're frozen still.
I mean, I could sing a song if you want to.
Yes, we do.
Let's tell stories about the road, Matt. Huh? What do we do now with no Justin? You know Silvano from Italy, right?
Yes.
Silvano, Iron Man, we love you. We got great stories for him, I'm sure. Yeah. I don't know if we're moving forward or not. Do you have notes with you?
From the matches? No.
Yeah.
He'll come right back on. So he's just resetting it.
No, I'm just saying, dude. I think Wardlow. I think he has so much to offer. He can be something good. They just have to take their time. I think one thing about like modern wrestling is it's so fast paced. They don't let anything marinate. And like if you look back at '80s wrestling, a turn would take a year and a half.
And I agree with for my fandom. I much prefer that. I personally, yes, I agree. Mm-hmm. But I go back to Daniel Bryan. Do you remember when it was taking forever to turn him, and like the fans were getting so irate about it?
I don't remember that. I hadn't seen that one.
What is he doing? Hang on, guys, stay here. I don't know what happened. We just got connected. It says my internet just went down. What? No, brother. Get back on.
Guys, we have no way of answering your text or questions, so we can just talk about wrestling.
I think I hang on. I think I can do me a favor if you could, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Go on to do you have any other access to like a computer?
I don't, not right now.
Okay. Let me because I can do this chat. I can get into the chat here.
Yeah, I have no way to get any of that. I can just keep people entertained by talking about random old wrestling. Yeah, if we could even answer questions, it'd be better.
I mean, all right. So, can you see me, Sam?
I see you fine. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I can't see you guys because I'm in the chats. But all right, Sam and Matt show tonight. People are
there. We go.
Well,
we got him back.
Talk about the show. Gee, thanks, Tim. No shit. All right.
Is Justin back?
There we go. Okay,
we lost you. We were getting ready to call an audible.
All right, so really quick, Counting Sheep's being a smartass. He wrote, Matt feels too uncomfortable talking to Sam alone. Ha ha. No, you idiot. I've known Sam for like 15 years. So screw yourself, Counting Sheep. And I know his whole family. So
I think it's been exactly 15 years.
I'm probably more comfortable talking to Sam than anyone else on this show. So shut up. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad to see that
And now he's getting cut out again.
Oh,
there.
Yes, Justin, go no chats, go right into the show. Next match. Quick. If you could.
He looks like a MySpace profile picture from 2001. He's frozen and pixely.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
It's saying my internet's bouncing. I don't know why. I'm 5 minutes from my router. All right. Or 5 feet from my router. All right, next up, we get FTR in the ring, and they basically are just roasting the rest of the tag division, at least some of it that's out ringside. Great heel stuff here as they're just ripping up on everybody, establishing themselves that they are the heels, they are the champs, and ultimately it ends with the Jurassic Express getting in the ring and punking them out and dumping some ice on them. So it looks like that's going to be the first challengers for FTR as champions. You guys good with that being the first feud for them?
I don't think it needs to be a feud. I don't think anything needs to be a feud. Right. Just have matches, you know. I'm a big fan of how it used to be, where you had your TV was a lot of preliminary matches or job matches, if you will, where they just, people roll through people. If you have 15 strong teams beating non-strong teams, you're excited to see two strong teams fight at the pay-per-view. So, I mean, I get it because everybody wants more action now, but I don't think it needs to be a feud.
Yeah, even if it's a few minute feature match, so what?
Right.
And then it will mean more when they wrestle people that are actually really, going to give them a run for their money.
Next up, Taz on commentary, and all of a sudden here comes Darby Allin's music, but it's Ricky Starks coming out doing another Darby Allin impression.
I don't get that, but continue. Sorry.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
Not much more to say.
Why are they doing an impression of him? I don't know.
Well, they're mocking him.
It's not really that funny, but I don't know. He did it one time. I thought it failed. I like Ricky Starks. I think he's a great young talent too, for the record. But they're still trying to find his footing there because it doesn't. Him with Taz and Brian Cage doesn't naturally fit because Ricky Starks is an incredibly flamboyant, cocky mother effer. If you let him do his thing. And he's got his own gimmick, and it works. I think he's incredibly entertaining. NWA, he proved it. But I feel like he's being harnessed a little bit right now, and they're still figuring out who he is. The company, I mean.
So yeah, Sam, what do you think of Ricky Starks?
This was the first time I ever saw him cut a promo. I've seen like clips of him, and it just looks like $1 million. I was really impressed by the way he talked. I didn't get anything about the Darby Allin impression, but I even said to my girlfriend, I was like, this guy's actually really good. So. That's all I got out of that. I don't know context, but I like him a lot.
Ty Conti up against Nyla Rose, and then noted Conti just signed an AEW deal officially today. We've seen her a little bit before. Good for her. I think she was one of the talents that was with NXT earlier this year. They got released earlier in 2020, so she's the newest. Her along with Miro, newest members of the roster.
What was her name in NXT?
I think it was the same thing. I think it was Ty Conti.
Oh, sorry.
I think. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. This match, it was long enough for them to go, I believe, to picture-in-picture in the commercial. But at the end of the match, obviously, the point being Nyla Rose hitting her with the Beast Bomb, so she gets the victory as she should. Post match, Vicky Guerrero on the mic with a normal "excuse me" gimmick. Basically says we're not going anywhere. Rose is here to run the division. Sheeta comes out with the kendo stick to stop her from doing anything more. And I'll say this with Conti. Either she definitely did the little things that make you think, oh, a wrestler's not selling, a wrestler's actually hurt. I don't know if she actually is. I hope she's not. She had after the match, she's pulling the knee pad down. She's wincing on the knee. So I don't. Again, if she's not hurt, which I hope that's the case, legitimately great sell job. Right. Otherwise, she hopefully everything's okay there. So something I was kept.
This was good. This was great though. The moral of the story: Nyla looked like a beast, like she needs to, because she is the real deal. I love Vicky with her. It only Nyla can cut great promos, so she doesn't need someone to talk for her. But that's not what this is. She just gets instantly more heat on her with Vicky out there, and it works. I like it. Matt,
to answer your question, in the chat room saying she went by Tenera Conti, so they just shortened it to
okay. Thank you, chat room.
To your tie. All right. So let me get Jim Ross. He does a sit down with Kenny Omega. Totally different kind of vibe other than what Hangman had, where Hangman was very woe is me. Omega basically short of the long of it, saying, he's been wrestling for 20 years. You win belts, you lose belts. He says, he tried doing his thing in the tag division for the last year in AEW, but he thinks it's time that he goes back to doing maybe what he does best, and that's just being a single star. So looks like singles star Kenny Omega and probably heel Kenny Omega coming to an AEW screen near you. Matt, I know you're an Omega fan, so that's got to sit well with you, right?
You kid. His wrestling, I'm a huge fan, definitely. After this pay-per-view, I this past Saturday, Sam, I was just going off the rails about his facials, his acting. And I hate saying it because I'm a fan of his work. It's terrible. It's god-awful. And it's distracting from how good in the ring he is at times. So I hope he finds his footing. I do. I hope he finds it. And what's funny is he does the opposite. Usually you can't get enough talents to go big enough with their animation, with their facials, their body language, the whole package. He goes way past, too far, right? So he needs to be just wound up a little bit, tightened up a little bit with, and let more subtleties do more of the talking for him with his body language. Less is more. And I don't mean his moves. I don't mean any of that. I just mean the in-between shit, in between the moves. Less is more for him. Sure. And I hope he'll figure that out.
Sam, have you ever worked Omega?
No. I've actually never met him in person. He's one of about 5 people left that I've never met. So, I've watched his matches. Incredible what he does. So, I'd like to meet him and work with him sometime. But, I mean, he's just got a track record that speaks for itself.
I think it would definitely be fair, coming off of what Matt said. I think it would definitely be fair to say that he's had a more noticeable struggle of getting over with an American TV audience on American TV coming from Japan than maybe some other guys have, or just other parts of the world. It does seem like, obviously I know he was a really big star in Japan, but it does feel like there was a lot of stock and hype of, he's going to be one of the cornerstones of AEW. And to a lot of what Matt said.
He was coming into this bigger than Cody, in my opinion. Out of the Elite crew, he was slightly ahead of Cody, in my opinion, because he was coming out of the New Japan Dome, all these great matches. So because of that, because he was so freaking high up, best wrestler in the world, Mr. 6 or 7 star match, come on. He had a huge ceiling he pushed past. And out of the Elite crew, I would say his has been the most underwhelming with AEW thus far. But I'm hoping he's able to find it, because once the bell rings, I love watching his shit. I'm not going to say I don't. I do.
Steezy Preezy 499. Only thing that sucks about the stacked tag team division is that some great teams have to take constant L's. How do you book around that?
Enhancement talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think they've been around since the 30s.
Yeah.
Of wrestling used them. I see nothing wrong, especially
same thing.
AEW Dark. How many guys are trying to get their positions and would gladly be for this every week? There could be 4 of them every episode. 2 minutes, hit 3 moves, cut a promo, and go home. But
dude,
wrestling. So,
dude, you remember when like in the 80s, like on Saturday mornings, the Killer Bees would be out there. And you thought it was a big deal. You got to see Killer Bees wrestle against no-name talent. You didn't care.
Yep.
You were just excited you got to see Killer Bees.
Keeps everyone over, and then you could do your 3 different house show circuits, because you have, instead of having 80 guys contracted, you have 80 guys that are over, and you can have them divided amongst 5 towns.
Big difference between what he just said right there, folks. Big, huge difference of being over. 80 talents that are over versus just 80 talents that are booked. Yeah, that's a big difference.
Well, yeah, from the booking, just imagine if WWE went back to that a little bit more. If WWE went back to that a little bit more, we wouldn't have to see the same match 3 weeks in a row. It's like
that's just one of my things. And again, I feel like wrestling was never broken. Why?
It wasn't, because it wasn't.
Yeah,
So it was so much better.
Like I said, my entire career is based on old stuff that still works. There's so many things that we can still be doing,
and you do crazy athletic shit that fits today's wrestling genre. So it can be done.
Yeah.
All right, they run down a lot of what we can have to look forward to on the next episode of Dynamite. Here's a note, though, for all you AEW fans. They don't even know when next week's Dynamite's going to be because with the NBA playoffs and not knowing how long a series might go, it might be Wednesday, it might be Thursday. So follow along on AEW social media, or just have it on your DVR saved, and it'll automatically record when it needs to. So we don't even know when we're talking about AEW next week. So stay tuned. We go into the main event of the night. It is the TNT Championship match with the champion Brody Lee being challenged by Cody's half-brother Dustin Rhodes for the TNT Championship here. This was a good match. I'll say this. Obviously, I had very little thought of, okay, Brody's not dropping this title, but I will give them credit that there were some really good spots during the match where I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Like Dustin's got it, or credit to Brody, timing the false finish. So this was an entertaining match at the end. Ultimately, super kick, spinning lariat, spinning discus lariat. Brody Lee gets the victory. Yeah. Dark Order stands tall over top of Dustin and company.
Can I just say something? Has Dustin Rhodes so far yet with AEW had an unentertaining match that you did not fully buy into? I'm yet to see it. All of his matches are frigging awesome.
He's like your age, Matt, isn't he? I mean, the way he moves still, like he's like mid-40s, right?
I'm 43. I think isn't he 50?
Oh, so you're early 40s. Sorry, I'm aging you. Let me see.
No, well, I'm 44 tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. Happy
birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, happy birthday.
But seriously, I want to say he's 50. No.
Let's see here, Dustin Rhodes.
Because I was a little kid when he was on TV wrestling.
He turned 51 this year.
Come on, that's crazy. That's how amazing he is.
There's no substitute for experience, and he shows it every time he's in the ring.
Golly, yeah.
This match, I mean, it was short and sweet, but this match is everything I need out of pro wrestling. I like bigger guys. I think it's cool when you have 2 big guys in the ring. Dustin's 6'6", Brody Lee is 6'8". 2 big guys in the ring. When the ring looks small surrounding them, there's something about it. One thing that they're doing with this the television title that I like, and this I could be wrong because I haven't seen enough of it, but they're actually booking the television title like it was intended on being booked. It's the main event for the TV show, and it's your best match on the show for your TV audience. And then, beyond that, maybe the best matches are going to be at the pay-per-view, but it's a definitive cap at the end of every a TV show. Yeah. And the last thing that I absolutely adored is just characters. I go back to it all the time about them being comic book characters. I just like, you should be able to look at a picture of a guy and assume, and be able to think of any of their daily activities, what it's like while they're doing it. I mean, that Goldust or the Dustin Rhodes character looks so cool. It literally looks something out of a Spawn cartoon. And Brody Lee could be a villain in any Marvel, Capcom video game or comic ever. So that match had it all for me.
Indeed. Quick shout out given to you. Sam Adonis needs to make AEW debut.
So. Yes, I agree.
One of these days, maybe.
All right. I know some bigger NXT fans are gonna be mad, but we'll just focus real quick on the 2 high spots of NXT to talk about as we're winding down the night here, and we have 2 quick news headlines we'll touch on. So NXT Super Tuesday follow up to the 4-way Ironman match that ended in a tie. So now we have to get a follow up between the 2 who tied, which was Finn Balor and Adam Cole. There's no surprise here. Great match. These 2 can't put on a bad match. They could go in there blindfolded and it's going to work out. Ultimately, though, Finn Balor gets the win, so he is your new NXT World Champion. This is the first world title he's held under the WWE umbrella since he won the inaugural Universal title, which, of course, he had to vacate a day later because he got injured winning it. So, Matt Morgan, Finn coming back to NXT was supposed to re-energize his career. I think it kind of, but this now NXT putting the title on him in the absence of Karrion Kross. You like it?
For him personally, yes, I do. I hope it's something that reinvigorates him, and he, I don't know what he's really missing. He's been in the business forever, and he's an incredible talent. Character-wise, I'm still a fan of the darn Demon. I didn't like that they got rid of it to begin with. So every time I watch, I'm like, why can't he just be the Demon doing this? Just because it gave him a huge layer and difference that made him different than anybody else, and it was money. But
I think for as big of an advantage as the Demon alter ego is also the biggest derail because he only would pull it out on payoff matches.
That was the problem. He should have been in every match, is what I was saying.
Because he'd pull it out for the big pay-per-view matches, the big payoffs, and what would happen is the Demon was so interesting with the look and the entrance and everything, and even the change in the music.
They kept giving us Bruce Banner after that. Nobody wants to see Bruce Banner.
Then you get
the Hulk.
Right. Then you get Finn Balor, and I'm like, And I hate that's not fair to him, but
it made him look like Coca-Cola Light versus what Diet Coke of what he originally is, which isn't fair because I'm sorry, Finn Balor in him is really good. But be introduced the Demon character. If you're going to do that, I would have continued with it. But that's what I think every time I watch. I'm like, oh, they're sitting on this gold mine. Why didn't they stop it? But I hope nothing but great things for him because he's a great guy, and hope he finds his footing with this title.
Neo dropping in a $2 super chat saying Kenny Omega missed the Cirque du Soleil
trial. For sure.
What does that mean?
Spirit fingers? What do you mean? What do I mean? What do you mean, Sam?
It's that bad? It can't be that bad.
What do you mean?
I always hate my thing that I hate he does. I hate the little pump up he has to do every time he points to the guy and he has to do a little pump up before he hits the rope. Like, stop that.
No, then he points to the ropes in case you were confused that he was going to hit the different set of ropes.
Right.
I still feel like I'm over here stirring a pot somehow, all fired up.
No, the super chat person's stirring it up. All right, Sam, any thoughts on Finn getting put with the title?
It's probably completely unrelated, but I think it might, in my opinion, it looks like it just goes to this Wednesday night crowd. A lot of the Wednesday night fans are the ones that follow wrestling on every level, and a lot of the wrestling fans that are watching on Wednesday nights had no New Japan. A lot of AEW's roster is from New Japan. But before New Japan blew up in the United States, the only one that anybody knew was Finn Balor. So he's there kind of carrying one torch, whereas you have Omega and the Young Bucks and Cody on the other side. I think it's just, I see why it is. I see, those Wednesday night fans, it seems to be up their alley. So I have no problem with it. He's a hell of a talent, a wonderful human being. And hopefully he just, makes the most of it and has fun with it.
Black Saw Johnny Hex 499 saying I went to high school with Skylar Moore.
Who is that?
She is one of the female talents that you can see at ringside. She's had some dark matches at AEW. She's actually from Pittsburgh. Here, I met Skylar. She went down. I think she got trained. I think she trained with the Dudleys, I believe.
Oh, never heard of her.
So shout out to her for.
Hi, Skylar.
Yeah, hi, Skylar. All right. It should be noted too. Later in the show in NXT, Adam Cole they called up with him for a post-match promo, and he had a babyface vibe to him. He gave praise to Finn. Definitely did not heel it up. So perhaps they're positioning again Adam for a babyface run for the future here. All right, in the main event, I'll note on a steel cage match, really good match. Mercedes Martinez of the Robert Stone brand up against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley got a win, which she certainly needed to, and she got a win and a great finish. Yep. She hits a super riptide from the top rope through the table. So great spot. Rhea getting a much needed win against Martinez, so they try to quickly tell you is credible to make it mean something here. So Matt, I know you're already a fan of this. So this is good.
Love this. This is my favorite match that's saying a lot, but that was my favorite match on NXT. I love Mercedes Martinez. Love her. She has world. Oh my! I say it every show. She's worked her butt off for so many years, and always getting near that opportunity, and something would happen, and never really get it. And they brought her in for the Mae Young, right? Remember, she did really good. She got over, and then something happened. She wasn't there. She didn't get signed. But she went to AEW for a minute. Thought things were going to be great there. She stood out in that all women's battle royal, the first one. She stood out, and everyone wanted her back. But something happened. She didn't really come back. So it's great to see her get her footing. She is a stud in every sense of the word. I'm not happy to see her lose, obviously, but by the same token, she put in a great match tonight. And I love Rhea Ripley. She is the truth.
Sam, did you get to see this match?
Yes, I'm right there with you, Matt. I love both of these girls. Like I said, I saw Rhea Ripley. I was instantly a fan with her WrestleMania match, Charlotte.
So good.
I've loved Mercedes Martinez for years as well. I think she was kind of ahead of the women's revolution, if you will. She was one of the only ones doing it back in around 2002, 2003. And she's worked her ass off. These girls, I mean, they're two of the toughest wrestlers in the business, period. And they worked their asses off. I mean, it was dramatic. I thought Robert Stone was so funny. He's great. I think he should, he's somebody that I still can't quite figure out why he never became a major star, because he has it all.
Right.
He comes from an era a little bit where he would have been considered small. But I think in today's era, where everyone's small, I mean, he'd have been the most animated guy out there and should be a star.
He's got like the stable of people. He's got like starting to give me a Bobby Heenan vibe, the comedy and the Heenan guys.
Everything about that was fun yesterday. I actually didn't even realize it was on until after the opening match, but I was able to catch it and enjoy the show.
And he's that character, right? He's that cartoon character, or that definitive character that you see him, you know exactly what he's about and what his motivations are right away, just from looking at him.
Yeah, and I don't know back to Mercedes real quick. I don't know what, everything Matt kind of outlined her timeline. I don't know what the reasons and everything, AEW for a minute. But I mean, I definitely think it's great that she's in NXT, because I mean, I think she's right around 40 years old if she's not there yet. And so let her contribute to the women's division while she can. And then I think she could be somebody who could be a huge asset to the Performance Center for them, for the women.
You kidding me? Yes.
Yeah. So that was NXT. Some super chats to get to here. Black Saw Johnny Hex again, $4.99. How cool to be Ruby Riott and Shotzi Blackheart as the Punk Rockers.
They would match.
They would match, absolutely. Another super chat. Where'd it go? Come here. There it is. This one coming from Tina Miller. $10, Tina.
Hey, Tina.
How do y'all feel about guys with alter egos using the same finisher as their normal characters? Fiend using Sister Abigail, Demon using the coup de grace. Always thought they should do something different. Interesting question there. Okay.
Wait, Fiend using Sister Abigail. Oh, I see.
And how Bray Wyatt also uses it, and even when Finn is the Demon, he does the same finish. No. So that's...
maybe I should, but I haven't really. It didn't make me think anything different. I don't know.
I like whenever there's not necessarily a set finishing move. I like when you have 4 or 5 things that can win a match, because not every baseball game is won with a walk-off home run. You kind of have to have variety there. So I like when every once in a while, you might do a elbow drop from the top or a clothesline, I like some of those Japanese finishes that are kind of nuts. But again, I'm weirder than most people, and I've just watched too much of this stuff.
Sam, what's in your finishing repertoire right now?
450 splash. But I only do that. I only do that when I'm when I have the fans' adulation on my side. If people are booing me, I don't have the energy or courage to do it. I usually just punch and kick and get used to chairs.
And folks, I've seen this 450 in person many times. This dude is 6'4" and he's doing a 450. Incredible.
Pretty well.
All right.
Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it, Justin.
I'll put you over a little bit. Hey. All right, so that was AEW and NXT this week. Real quick, 2 other headlines we'll get to, and then we will call it bedtime. Monday, obviously Labor Day, but we had Monday Night Raw. They did go down. We had seen them trending a little upwards since they moved into the Thunderdome. This one down. The show drew an average of 1.725 million. That is down 9% from the 1.896 of the previous week. And I'll just say this. Obviously, don't want to see them going down. And next Monday, will be the first Monday they have the NFL back. And of course, this is the NFL in a time of hardly any fans live, and depending on what stadium you're in. They also are going to be contending with the NBA playoffs. So they are going to have, for the first time in a while, since this pandemic started, some serious sports competition on Monday nights. So it'd be interesting to watch the numbers there. Super chat real quick. Johnny Hex again. Thank you, $4.99. I miss the WWE Raw Across the Nation theme. What were your favorite theme songs from Raw? Oh, good God. It's been so many of them.
I did not even know that was the name of their opening theme.
Yeah.
I don't know any of their names. I couldn't tell you.
I love the old when back in the Attitude Era, when it was broken up to where the first part of Raw was Raw is War and the last hour was War Zone. I love like the all of them fighting, and there's like on a roof and cannons are going off and Austin's walking through fire.
I like the Saturday Night's main event entrance.
Oh, and the music. Okay, I take it back. That music was great.
Good stuff back then.
Yeah.
Or the SummerSlam one from '88. It was all like trumpets and horns and stuff. It was great.
Oh man, I gotta go back and watch it.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. And finally, some news. WWE's lawyer Jerry McDivitt sent this out to everybody. WWE has been dealing for a while. They've been on the receiving end of a class action lawsuit from a lot of former wrestlers. The lawyer leading the charge, Konstantin Kairos, both names spelled with a K. Sounds like something right out of the random name generator for an enhancement talent. But they've been all around CTE, all around that. And basically, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals today affirmed the dismissal of all the CTE cases filed against WWE by Kairos. The court also ruling that Kairos is going to have to pay some money to WWE based on the claims being dismissed. You can read in full in good legal detail in Wrestling Inc. But bottom line, WWE gets a big win out of this. Not only are they getting the case against them dismissed about the CET from former talent, but they also are going to get some money for the trouble. So you really can't win any bigger than that in terms of the situation here. So that is that. We got one more super chat before we get out of here. John Cena's bald spot, $5. I wish you guys could just cover Monday Night Football on Monday and forget about the snooze fest that
please
Raw is.
Please.
Tell me when Brady is on Monday night.
I think the Steelers are on Monday night, Sam.
When Tampa Bay play, I'd rather see Brady than the Steelers, but
I'm focused on my Washington not Redskins on Sunday.
What are they called this year?
Just the Washington football team. True story. Obviously, I've been people that really follow this pod. I grew up in the DC area. I've been a Skins fan all my life, or a Washington football fan all my life. When this pandemic hit, I didn't want to wear the old-fashioned just medical mask or whatever. So I went out and bought like masks online for my favorite sports teams. I got like a bunch of Redskins masks, back ordered because pandemic. They show up 2.5 months later after I pay out the ass to order for them. Literally 4 days later, the team officially changes the name. So now I have all this stuff that says Redskins, and I don't know if I'm offending somebody if I go and wear it out in public now.
You can't wear it no more. You can't wear it no more.
The life I live in. Johnny Hex, $4.99. Did you see Matt's wife? I'm assuming he means Matt Hardy. Confirmed a concussion. Tony said he did. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's a lot of controversy there. But at the end of the day, as long as Matt's gonna be okay, that's the most important thing here. Matt Morgan, put yourself over.
Good night, folks. They know where to reach me at on Twitter, Instagram. They already know.
Oh, it's so second nature. We all know how to get a hold of the blueprint, Matt Morgan.
They do.
You are a mayor, though. You have to be accessible.
What, you want me to plug my city commission meeting tomorrow night, folks, at 6 p.m.?
Yes. What's on the agenda? What's on the agenda for the meeting?
We joined via Zoom.
We would like it
on Facebook Live if you wanted to.
We would like
that to our city. No big deal. We're the first city in the southeast region to have our commission meetings streamed on Facebook Live, so all of our residents can see what's going on in their own backyard on the decisions we make.
You're an innovator.
For real.
Yeah. We would like to see the documented minutes from that meeting. Tomorrow,
you guys are the worst.
All right, fine. Here's a
Sam, take it away.
Here's a pro who do it. Sam Adonis, put yourself over.
I have to do it because no one else does. So you can get me on social media at Real Sam Adonis right there. I'm coming up this weekend. I'm in Pittsburgh. Following weekend, Chicago. October 3rd, Salt Lake City. October 10th, West Virginia. November 26th, Lubbock, Texas. All over the place doing my thing. There's videos online where you can see me do that 450 that Justin was talking about. So check me out, and hopefully I get to see some of you guys soon.
There it is. Go see the 450 in person if the crowd is in the palm of his hands. Get in the palm of his hands. I'm Justin LaBar. I'll be on the Wrestling Inc. Daily tomorrow, Busted Open Radio Friday morning. So hit the follow button there. I'll talk to you all then. Thank you for joining. Sorry for the technical issues earlier on. Thanks for the super chats. Raj appreciates it. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Good night, guys. Good job.